Most people walk into a Hyundai dealer, look at the Palisade lineup, and figure one trim is basically the same as the next. Just spend a bit more, get a bit more leather. That is the story the dealer wants you to believe. It is also how buyers end up in a $50,000 SUV missing the one feature they actually wanted. Or worse, on a model year that quietly racked up 3 separate recalls. Here's every Palisade trim ranked worst to best. And no, the winner is not the most expensive one. Stay with me. We start at the bottom, and the bottom of the Palisade story is, funnily enough, the year everyone fell in love with it. 2020 was the launch year. The styling was a hit. The interior shocked the segment, the reviews were glowing. So what is it doing at number 12? Because the launch year is also when Hyundai uses real customers as the final round of quality control. 5 separate recalls hit this model year. Side curtain airbag bolts that could damage the airbag during deployment, which is a sentence that should not exist. A wiper motor that could quit on you in the rain, which is when you sort of need it. And a tow hitch harness recall for fire risk, which is exactly as fun as it sounds. On top of that, the 8-speed transmission threw slipping and hesitation complaints in big numbers. Hyundai patched it later, mostly. The 2021 is basically the launch year wearing slightly better software. Hyundai pushed out the transmission control update, and most of the worst shifting complaints went away. Most, not all. Consumer Reports still flagged engine knock and rough shifting through this year. So if you're buying one used, take it on a long test drive and pay attention to how it feels when you bury the throttle from a stop. If it surges and then catches like it just remembered which gear it was in, you found the issue. And the base SE on these years skipped the sunroof, the heated seats, and the surround camera. Almost $40,000 for what was essentially a fleet rental. Wait, the 2024 sits this low. After the mid-cycle refresh, the new dash, the bigger screen? Yep. And the reason will make you triple check the VIN of any used 2024 you're about to buy. In February of 2024, Hyundai issued a recall on certain Palisade engines for a defect in the valve spring assembly. A failed valve spring is not a check engine light situation. It is the engine deciding to inhale one of its own valves at 70 miles per hour, which ends the car and possibly your day. The recall was limited in scope, so most 2024s are fine, but you have to actually check the VIN before you sign. And the SE, again, is the strip trim. So you are getting recall risk without the goodies. Brand new generation, brand new platform, brand new everything. The 2026 SE starts under $41,000, which makes it look like the deal of the lineup on paper. Because within months of launch, the new Palisade picked up 2 open recalls. One on side curtain airbags and one on the digital cluster software that could blank the speedometer while you were driving. Hyundai pushed an over-the-air fix, but it is still a fresh launch with fresh launch problem. And then there is what you do not get. No power liftgate, no captain's chairs, cloth seats, an 8-passenger bench, and a screen that runs the basics and not much else. Sit in the SEL right next to it, and the gap is honestly a bit embarrassing. Now the spreadsheet starts making sense. The SEL adds H-Tex leatherette, a power driver's seat, heated front seats, dual zone climate, wireless charging, and the option to swap in second row captain's chairs. It is the first trim where the Palisade actually feels like a Palisade and not a glorified Tucson with extra rows. But it is not the value pick yet. Watch what happens next. Quick pause. If you are not subscribed yet, hit that button right now, because the next trim is the one that cost Palisade buyers thousands of dollars in regret every single year, and I do not want you to be one of them. The SEL still misses the panoramic sunroof, the Bose audio, the surround camera, and the ventilated second row. And those are not small things when your in-laws are sweating in the back seat in July. The XR-T Pro is the trim Hyundai built for people who want a Palisade that looks like it might do something rugged. Note the word looks. You get standard all-wheel drive, all-terrain tires, a touch more ground clearance, and styling that says weekend in Moab, even if your weekend is actually Costco. Here's the catch nobody tells you about. The XR-T Pro is the only trim where you cannot get the hybrid powertrain. So you are paying extra for off-road readiness. On the same gas V6 the rest of the lineup runs, while giving up the engine that, honestly, is the better daily driver. If you actually take a 3-row family SUV down dirt roads on weekends, the XR-T Pro makes sense. If you live on pavement and just like the look, you are leaving real money on the table. And here it is. The trim Edmunds calls the hidden gem of the lineup. The trim experienced shoppers consistently end up at after they have driven everything else, because the SEL Premium is where the upgrades start landing in places you can actually feel. You get the panoramic sunroof, so the cabin opens up. You get ventilated second row seats, so summer road trips stop being a hostage situation. You get Bose audio, surround view monitor, ambient lighting, and a hands-free liftgate. Most of those features used to live exclusively on the Limited just one generation ago. So why is it not higher? Because we are about to introduce the hybrid into the conversation, and that changes the math completely. It is a fantastic Palisade. It is just not the smartest one. Now we go backwards because the 2022 and 2023 Limited in calligraphy are quietly the best used Palisade buy on the market. And it comes down to timing. By 2022, Hyundai had pushed through the launch year recalls and most of the early build quality grumbles. The 8-speed settled down, the engine knock complaints and the Consumer Reports data dropped sharply. These years also got the pre-refresh interior, which a lot of owners actually prefer. Real buttons, a simpler layout, less screen, more feel. Imagine that. Used pricing has come back to earth, so a 2022 calligraphy with low miles and full options now sits in the same neighborhood as a brand new SEL Premium. If you do not need the latest tech, this is the smart money buy. The Limited is what happens when Hyundai stops being polite. You walk up to it and it just looks expensive, like it knows something the SEL does not. Inside you get real, leather, heated and ventilated seats across 2 rows, a heated third row, of 14 speaker Bose, a dual pane sunroof, and a power folding third row that turns cargo loading into a one-finger operation. Quick one for you. Drop a comment below and tell me whether the Limited justifies the jump over the SEL Premium, or whether the smarter play is putting that money straight into the hybrid. Here's the asterisk though. The 2026 Limited in calligraphy carry an open recall on the second and third row power seats, where the seat may not detect a person in the way. Hyundai is fixing it over the air, but it is on the record. Now we are talking. The Palisade Hybrid is brand new for 2026, and the SEL Premium Hybrid is, dollar for dollar, the most interesting thing Hyundai has put on a dealer lot in years. Here's the headline. A turbo 4-cylinder paired with an electric motor making 329 horsepower combined and 339 pound-feet of torque. So it actually has more torque than the V6 gas Palisade. And unlike the V6, that torque arrives almost the moment you breathe on the throttle. So you take the same equipment as the gas SEL Premium, the sunroof, the ventilated second row, the Bose, all of it. Then you swap in an engine that pulls harder and drinks less. For about $3,000 more, $3,000. That is one of the easiest yes calls in the segment right now. Number 2 is the Hybrid Limited. And by this point in the lineup, the pattern starts feeling pretty obvious. You take everything the gas Limited has, the leather, the ventilated front and second row, the heated third row, the Bose, the dual pane sunroof, the power folding third row. Then you drop in the 329 horsepower hybrid, add roughly 30% better fuel economy, and let the math do its thing. Yes, it starts at $51,990, real money. But spread that over 5 years of ownership, and the fuel savings alone close most of the gap to the gas Limited. Plus, hybrids are holding their resale better than gas-only models heading into the back half of the decade. It is the Limited that thinks ahead. The number one is the one that already arrived. This is the one. The 2026 Hybrid Calligraphy is the Palisade you actually want, and the longer you sit with it, the more obvious that becomes. You get everything the Hybrid Limited has, then Hyundai starts adding the stuff that makes you forget which badge is on the hood. Nappa leather with quilted stitching that feels imported. A massaging driver's seat with an extendable thigh rest because somebody at Hyundai noticed long road trips exist. A suede headliner overhead, 21-inch wheels underneath, and a head-up display floating in front of you. It even has dash cams built in, and ambient lighting that adjusts to cabin temperature. Either genuinely useful or hilariously over-engineered, depending on who you ask. Walk it into a Mercedes GLS showroom, and it does not flinch for $30,000 less. Number 1, easily. So there you have it. Every Palisade trim ranked worst to best. The launch years sit at the bottom where the recalls put them. The 2024 needs a VIN check. The new SE is fleet trim. The XRT Pro is styling. The SEL is sensible. The SEL Premium is the gas value pick. The 2022 and 23 Limited in calligraphy are the smart use buy. And the 3 hybrids at the top are where this story is going. The Hybrid Calligraphy sits alone at the summit. Subscribe so you do not miss the next one.